Am I the astronaut for being controlling about the cleaning when my boyfriend was cooking for me? I, 48 female, work full-time, often from home, and I'm a single parent to a 14-year-old. I live in a small open-plan apartment, so my kitchen, living area, and workspace are all in one space. When it's messy, I can't escape it. My job is demanding and takes a lot of mental and physical energy. By the end of the day, I'm drained, and keeping up with housework feels like a never-ending battle. I'm often too embarrassed to have people over because it never feels properly presentable. Yesterday, I used my lunch break to deep clean the kitchen and bathroom. It took almost 2 hours, and I had to make up the time by working late. I was so happy to finally have gotten on top of a few things and wanted the place to stay nice for a little while. My boyfriend, 55 male, doesn't officially live with me, but he stays over about 6 nights a week and cooks and eats here daily. He helps where he can, loading the dishwasher, wiping surfaces, taking bins out, etc., but the majority of jobs are on me. When he came over after work, he brought ingredients to cook dinner. Admittedly, I've been a little twitchy about the kitchen. I followed him around with a sponge, picked up dropped food, rinsed the sink, hand-washed utensils, and wiped counters as he cooked, which annoyed him. The moment that really set him off was when I turned a pepper grinder upright after he'd left it upside down, leaving the pepper on the counter. He snapped and said I was being passive-aggressive, making him feel incompetent, and that his nice gesture wasn't appreciated. I apologized and explained I just wanted to keep the kitchen nice for a while, but he was still irritated. When we sat down to eat, he asked why I looked annoyed. I said I just felt like no one respected how hard I worked to get things clean. He blew up and threatened to go home, saying he wouldn't cook for me again. He and my daughter have both been rolling their eyes as he cooked and saying things like, "Oh God, mom's on about the cleaning again," which made me feel dismissed. I said I didn't expect everyone else to deep clean, but some acknowledgement of why I might want to keep it nice would go a long way. Instead, he told me I was controlling and that no one wants to be around me when I'm like this. Later that night, when I got up to bed, I found the sink full of food scraps, the hob covered in sauce platters, and dirty dishes left on the side. I don't know if it was just because of the argument, but after being made to feel like I was the problem, it really felt like the final straw. So, am I the astronaut? I genuinely can't tell. I can read this part again. Sink full of food scraps. So they made a mess on purpose? Edited to add, I think I might be the asshole because my partner is generally very kind and helpful and emotionally intelligent, yet despite this, is still telling me that my behavior while he was cooking was unacceptable and intolerable. At the time, I felt that I was justified in wanting the work I had done to stay intact just for a short while. I really found it difficult to understand why he couldn't see my point of view, but his feelings were so strong about the situation and he was so angry and upset with my behavior that I genuinely don't know whether I was the asshole for being so pedantic about the cleaning. He told me that the next time I have done deep cleaning, he doesn't want to come over to the house because I make everybody feel like they can't touch anything afterwards. This is where it is unclear to me whether my behavior is acceptable or not. I feel that the situation could have been easily diffused with a little recognition of how much effort I had put into and understanding that I might want to keep on top of it so that I can enjoy my clean space for a while. My partner feels very differently about it, so I truly don't know if I'm the asshole or not. Top comments. ESH. I know you just cleaned, but people can't cook with someone following behind them cleaning like you were. The biggest problem is that you have another adult living there who is not equally contributing. You didn't mention it, so it doesn't sound like your 14-year-old is helping either. It's time that you give your kid some responsibilities and tell your boyfriend to either start spending more time at his place or start at least cleaning after himself when he cooks. OP's response, you have an absolutely valid point about my teenager. She is currently in a very difficult phase behaviorally and with her mental health. Because she's a teenager. And I am admittedly really struggling with some of the behaviors. I would love for her to help me out more, but at present, all of my focus is going into the battle of trying to get her to attend regular education. I asked her to keep on top of her own bedroom, but I don't currently enforce any formal chores on her outside of please don't actively trash what I just cleaned. This is entirely on me. I guess I'm picking my battles a bit at the moment. That's important. We will revisit. ESH, the next comment says, when he came over after work, quoting OP here, he brought ingredients to cook dinner. Admittedly, I was being a little twitchy about the kitchen. I followed him around with the sponge, picked up dropped food, rinsed the sink, hand-washed utensils, and wiped counters as he cooked. JFC, have mercy, that sounds annoying as hell. I'd have snapped too. That said, he probably was passive-aggressive back by leaving a mess on purpose. May I suggest the next time you let him cook and then you two clean up together afterward? Also, if he's there 6 nights a week and cooks and eats there, he basically is living with you. OP's response: thank you for putting this perspective forward. It's exactly the element I'm struggling with, so it's good to hear from unbiased third parties. The only defense I can offer for my over-the-top reaction to his cooking last night was that I didn't want to have to get back up after dinner and clean again. In my head, knowing that he is a pretty messy cook, he's a professional chef by trade, so he's very used to having kitchen porters and infinite quantities of cookware. I just wanted to tackle it as we went along so that I could relax for the rest of the night. I totally take your point, though. Okay, let's talk about this.
Man, OP seems fried with the work and like being mentally exhausting, teenager being mentally exhausting, not knowing that your boyfriend lives with you or not. I don't know, it sounds mentally exhausting. But OP was probably being over the top the way she was going behind him cleaning. And you can clean as you go, but I think once you set something down and someone picks it up and starts wiping it, like it's a lot, and it would probably be a lot. But I think OP is struggling to help control the situation with her child. And then she cleaned her house and she did have control over that situation. And then it felt like someone was coming in and messing it up. Yeah. The situation she did have control over. So I think she's probably overreacting to other stressors that aren't even directly related to the situation. But it is an ESH, but I think it's a fixable ESH for me. And I know people disagree and say NTA or think that, she's completely in the wrong. But I think, in my opinion, OP seems to be struggling, and I'm not going to trash.
I agree with you.
Person.